Welcome to RVing in New England, the nation's only forum that puts you on stage with some of the biggest names in the RV industry. This program is brought to you by Lee's Family Trailer Sales and Service, one of America's fastest growing RV dealerships. And now your hosts, John DePietro and Bob Zagami.
Co-host kept messing up on the technical aspects of the show last week. We have fired him, and now I am taking over RVing in New England. And we have a special co-host tonight. And folks, wait a minute. How did you get on the show, Zagami?
I came back. I
thought we got rid of you last week.
No, I went to HR and told them I identified as a TV host. And they said, well, that's fine because we can get rid of DePietro and we'll just have you.
That Traveling Robert, we need you to be the arbitrator here.
I have no idea what I'm doing here.
We've been doing this show for 4 years, and I've been putting up with his ineptitude in engineering. Sounds kind of like a slogan for a car company, ineptitude in engineering. But I guess because, he's of a certain age, and he's bald, and he went to the HR.
You're not even close, Robert. You're not
to the HR office.
Even close.
And because he's a protected species, now we have to hire him back.
Okay. Robert, looks like you got a memory.
And I was going to fill out my application already. Oh, man.
Okay. Well, anyway.
You got a member of your fan club on, Robert. For Lee Green is on. Did you even introduce Robert?
Not yet, because you haven't had. You held that legal cloak over my head.
I'll have to fire you then.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight on RVing with John DePietro, we have a special guest. And if you ever check out this new phenomenon called YouTube, you will know that one of the highest rated and highest ranked personalities in YouTube in the RV world is our friend Traveling Robert. And if you can sing the jingle, I'm riding in my RV, then you know that this is Traveling Robert, and he's right here live. He's here to answer any question that you might have. And I should tell you this, he's got 180,000 YouTube subscribers and fans, so much to the point that when he travels around the country, he can kind of leech off his fans and not ever have to pay for anything.
That's not true. But thank you so much, guys, for inviting me. It's great to be here.
So, Robert, the young Robert, that's you, Mr. Morales.
Oh, that's me. Okay.
Tell us a little bit about your background, because you have become a phenomenon. And you know what? In the RV industry, you are really an overnight sensation.
Yeah. Well, I have a friend of mine that says that there is no overnight success, and I tend to agree. I think everything that I've learned throughout the years kind of prepared me for this. And I started my YouTube channel about 11 years ago. Didn't go pretty much anywhere until I started RVing, and then people started watching. That once I started RVing 7 years ago. And by the way, I never camped as a young man or knew anything about RVing until my brother-in-law decided to rent one of these things. And I went inside and I'm like, this seems like a very comfortable and nice way to travel. And then we rented one, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So,
well, you know what? I see one of the people that we have on. Bob, you're welcome to talk anytime you want, but raise your hand first. Chris Andro, you see his name over there, Chris Andro? He owns a very successful RV dealership in New England, but more importantly, he's president of the RVDA, which is the RV Dealers Association, which is the trade association for all the RV dealers. And he should be looking at you as a speaker to come in at some time to talk to the dealers, either in person or online, because I think you've done so much to introduce non-RVers like yourself to RVing that, the dealers benefit because they sell new units to new people. And all the studies showed last year that 50% of the units that were over 50%, right, Bob?
Yeah, 55.
Over
almost
55%.
every day I'll get an email or a comment about someone that says saying that they have been inspired to start RVing because of what they seen on my YouTube channel. So I guess it is true.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you done any work with Go RVing, Robert?
No. I obviously know who they are, but no, I haven't done any work with them.
Okay, we'll introduce you to them.
Yeah.
You had an interesting background, though. Tell us a little bit about your background, because you knew about the technology, but you just hadn't been a camper, right?
Well, I always had a passion, even when I was probably a teenager, even earlier, a passion for making videos. That was one of the first things we bought when we came to the United States in 1988. Just one of them is back there. You see, I don't know if you can see a big camcorder back there. I keep it as a reminder where it all started. And eventually I did go to college for TV production. I never actually, it's a strange industry, and I never actually worked doing TV production in the TV production. But I learned a lot, and eventually YouTube came out, and it was something that we could do on our own, and I already had the production and the photography knowledge, that is necessary for this.
So when you came here in 1988, where did you come
Cuba.
from? Cuba. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I did a long layover in Madrid, Spain, like a 1 year layover before we came here. But hey, when you want to get out of Cuba, you go to the country that takes you, and then you come here.
Oh, no, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
You couldn't come Cuba to the U.S. directly.
At the time was of the essence at the moment, and where the country that we got the visa was Spain. My dad had a very good friend in Spain, and I was just about to turn 16, which is military age, and then I would have been able to get out of Cuba. So it was a very short window of opportunity, and between my dad's retirement and my being of military age. So yeah.
Interesting.
And then a year later, there was a program called Exodus, and they brought a bunch of us Cubans back to the United States.
A bunch of us back.
Interesting.
Yeah. Cubans that were like they called us like stranded in other countries like Spain, Peru. There were a bunch of in Venezuela, Costa Rica, and it was more like a family reunification thing than anything else. Yeah.
Interesting.
Let me introduce you to some of the people that we have on tonight, and the folks that are out there can start throwing questions up. But Maria Moore is on. Lee is your fan club. Walter, Dante Besmagnani, he will be a speaker at our expo. Hello, Dante. Chris Ando, as John mentioned, from Hemlock Hill RV. Mm-hmm. Estelle Drew is on. Dustin Hug. Don't mind me. I'm just here for Traveling Robert.
You know that guy, Robert?
Dustin Hug?
You know him?
No, Dustin Hug, don't mind me. I'm just here from Traveling Roberts. Not personally. I'm sure we've chatted many times in the
maybe he's in that mix of 180,000 fans.
So here it is.
When you get 180,000 fans, it's kind of hard to keep track of every single person.
Okay, read what Frank says.
Frank says, I can show it. See, can you read that, Robert?
Yes, before your time ends, get Traveling Robert to sing something camping related. But I could do my theme song later on if you want.
We'll do that. But he's got a keyboard right behind him.
You mean now? I got my keyboard. I got.
Well, I've got that clip you just sent me. I can do that later. But yeah,
I got my guitar.
Do it in person.
I'm riding in my RV, wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, very good. All right.
Okay, Bob, now you do the same thing.
Chris says, great idea, John, even if Bob is technically challenged. Chris, you don't have to feed his ego, Chris. Michelle Fontaine is on from Rolling on TV. Bruce Krantz, hello, Robert. Where's your IPA? Well, I don't know where his IPA is, but I know where my.
Hey, they told me this was like a serious conversation, so I decided to come sober.
Whoever told you that was lying. Good evening.
Oh, man.
Kathy Wheeler. Lisa Tavicoli, good evening. Great to be back. The National Girl Camper Expo was a lot of fun and informative. It's true what they say, the more you learn, the less you know. I'm at the bottom of the mountain, but looking forward to the climb. Okay, welcome. Scott Nichols, good to see you. Rachel, glad to see you. Scott Nichols, Robert has a great channel. Oh, okay, there's
thank
one.
you.
Adam Christopherson. Hey, you got the big guy from Winnebago.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I spoke to Adam a couple of days ago, actually.
Yeah.
So, Adam, great to see you here, man.
He's a towable guy, huh?
And Adam, I sent you an apology. When I sent the note over to Winnebago this morning, I forgot Adam and Joel, and Emily had to send it over to them. But thanks for joining in, Adam. Linda Decker is on, Lee Green, Michelle Fontaine. That was a great voice. Can picture you sitting around a campfire with friends and that guitar. I agree with that. Bob Dorothy Walk, love Robert's CDs.
Hold on.
Tim says hugs and enjoy seeing you.
We're going to be giving away a CD. We don't know how yet, but we're going to make the rules up as we go. Okay,
we make it up as we go, right? Yeah,
we should. Bob, let's stop here for 1 second because we should ask Robert 2 questions. Number 1.
Just 2, and then we're going to let him go home, or what?
Yeah, we'll let him go home. Like he's got to go get some cerveza, right, Robert?
Yes.
Lunes Martes and cerveza. So you have to speak Spanish because I spent all those years in school learning Spanish. So I know dos palabras.
How's that working for you? Oh, dos palabras. There you go.
Dos palabras. Okay. So tell us what you're traveling in. What are you riding in? Not what's towing you, but what is your current RV?
My current RV is a Winnebago Micro Mini 1708 FB. That's a 2020. And it's this kind of like the smallest one they make, but I kind of like, it's cozy. And I can park it almost anywhere. So,
and you said you wanted a small one because you want to be able to get in and out of the small cities and in the big cities as well, right?
And that's the first one that I got. My first RV was a 1706, very similar model. And my premise was that I had to fit in my driveway here, and I live in the middle of the city in Miami, so it's a rather narrow driveway, and this Micro Mini is 7 feet wide, so it fits right in there.
Yeah.
that was the main premise.
Now you're a brand ambassador for Winnebago.
Yes,
also.
I am. Yes.
So and you got your logos on the trailer and your information. You must be the hit of the campground with 180,000 fans. When you show up in the campground, people
every once in a while I get people that Like a couple of days ago, I was coming back from North Florida and the rest area. Somebody just came to me. I see your videos. Can I take a picture? So it's still kind of strange that being quote unquote famous, but it happens. Yeah, once in a while, for sure.
Hey, Robert, welcome to the club. I'm pretty famous too. I have my pictures in post offices all across America.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's a different type of famous.
They'll catch up with him one of these days.
One of these days.
And your second question to Petro was?
Huh? What? Oh, the second question was, you're driving, you got a small Chevy, right?
Yeah.
You don't need a giant 4-wheel drive.
I wish I had 4-wheel drive. I kind of chippened out when I bought that Chevy, and I got a Colorado. It's 2-wheel drive, but it's capable. I've towed that Micro Mini, in the Sierra Nevada in California over the Rockies, and it keeps going.
Okay, it's got 2 axles, so you get a good ride with it.
Yes.
Yeah. Although you don't know because you're not in it.
I have no idea. I should set up a camera back there and see what's going on.
Exactly. So tell us.
Put a Furion backup camera in the back of the trailer. Yeah.
During COVID,
already pre-wired for it.
Yeah, I do. I have one. Yeah, I have a backup camera.
During COVID, how did you change your travel habits? Because you're still out there.
First of all, what I did, I had to plan better, and not go to. I try to avoid the states that had like the more restrictive restrictions, to put it that way. And second of all, I usually I go into the city, I go into a brewery, I go to restaurants and do that. I like to experience that type of city life too. And this time around, I didn't do it as much. I just pretty much did outdoors, like nature, basically. I did go into a couple of places in like North Dakota, which was kind of wide open at the time, but places with the lockdowns like California or the Northeast, where you guys are, you've had some of the more restrictive lockdowns.
Yeah, we do. So look at, you got 180,000 YouTube fans. You got all kinds of videos up on YouTube. What's your favorite type of video to make?
Ones with me in it.
Yeah, I'd like to know the favorite type to make. I don't really have a favorite, but I like the ones where I get to learn. Like I was just making a video about Springfield, Illinois. So I had to brush up on my history about Abraham Lincoln and all that. So I love the videos that force me to do some research either before or after the fact. Like I'm really looking forward to a video that I'm gonna do. I'm planning for this late summer in the East Coast, and I just got a book about the East Coast and every single little town that is around, from all the way from Maine to the Florida Keys.
Have you ever
I love making those videos where I learn. I also love doing national parks and places super scenic where you just have to point the camera and that's all you really have to do. It's just.
But your videos are somewhat different than most people because a lot of it is travelogue. It's not narration.
Yeah.
And I love the ones when you do the speed up and you've got your GoPro and you can see that you go in and out of bad weather.
Yeah. No, and it's a great, for me, it's a great thing to have that GoPro going all the time on the roof, because sometimes I see something interesting, and by the time I take out the camera and hit record, that the deer already, went into the bushes. So that camera going all the time, sometimes I get to capture some interesting stuff that happens on the road, and it helps a lot, in creating the story.
That's right in the center of your trailer, right?
Yeah, it's on the top, on the center, on the fiberglass. Not on the rubber roof, but on the fiberglass right on the front.
And it's mounted with
it's
glue.
Mounted with one of those. The first time I mounted it, I was sure it was gonna come off and disappear in the middle of I-75, and 7 years later, it's still it's one of those. It's a GoPro mount. It has the 3M double-sided tape. And
that's it, huh?
As long as you do it when the trailer is new and it's like clean and
yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. Well, Joan Egan says, I love Robert's videos. We watch every evening here in the UK. That means she must be at the University of Kentucky. We go to Robert's world and enjoy the music, hikes, scenery, and even his cooking. So, Joan Egan, tell us where in the UK you are, and it must be what, midnight? 6 hours?
Actually, with the daylight saving is probably midnight.
Midnight or 1 a.m.
Midnight or We are GMT -4 now, so at 8 p.m. would be GMT midnight. I don't know if they have changed the time there yet. But by the way, I get a lot of viewers from the UK, from Australia, from all kinds of different places.
You gotta answer this one, Robert.
Wrong logo.
Oh, that's already
wrong logo. What?
No, I had the wrong logo up there. Where's Mo here?
Come wrong here. Logo, wrong message.
There you go. You got to explain this one.
Will then become pelican heads too? LOL. They'll probably like to hear why they are called that. Well, this was my second video, which I recorded back in 2008. I released it in 2011, and I don't know if you've watched that movie, Scarface with Tony Montana. And Tony's watching TV, and he goes, Marty, look at the pelican fly, pelican on the screen. And I said that on that video many years ago, and I started saying it every time I saw a pelican. And one day in one of the live streams, I think it was CLT, which is he's become a good friend, Alex. And he said we should call like if Jimmy Buffett has the parrot heads, we should call ourselves the pelican heads.
There you go.
And it stuck, and it's been our name for at least 2 years now. So
you know, pelican head shirts or logos. You haven't caught up with Jimmy on all the
I haven't done a Pelican Head shirt. I have a Pelican Fly shirt and all that, and I'm working on a hat that says Pelican Head, and I'm working on Pelican Head t-shirts too. It's just one of those things that I haven't really gotten around to, but I will at some point.
But we should say a lot of your merchandise is available for sale at what? TravellingRobert.com
/merch, or just click on the merchandise link.
TravellingRobert.com.
/ME.
We'll take you there.
I'll put it up here for you. Go. You ask another question. I will change out.
Yeah. No, Joan Egan. Thank you, Joan, for telling us. No, Twycross in the Midlands. I'm presuming that's south of York and north of London, maybe near Sheffield. Mm-hmm. Let's see if that's the case. And Chris Andro, the RVDA guy, wants to know, what are Robert's travel plans for this summer? Any place cool?
Well, I'm still working on it. I have that late summer East Coast road trip planned. But if that falls through, I just heard that the eastern side of Glacier National Park just reopened. So we might make the trek to Glacier National Park after the Winnebago Open House. So we'll see. There are many plans for the summer.
I hope Winnebago does have their open house again. They had to cancel it there for a while.
Yeah, I know they canceled it last year, but everything seems to indicate that it's happening this year so far.
So Linda Deckard said, Robert is truly a real guy. That's why we love about him most. That's what we all love about him most. Yeah. He wanders the way we all do when we're on the road, always stopping when we see something interesting. Linda, tell us where you're from, Linda. And Bruce Krantz says, invite Robert to Normandy Farms.
Well, what is Normandy Farms? Now, you said, I saw one of your videos this morning, and you said you wanted to come up for the fall foliage and follow the foliage from Maine to Florida. So come up, and it's a great time to go camping in New England. We got plenty of campgrounds. We'll get you set up at Normandy Farms. That's one of our best ones east of the Mississippi. Always a big award winner.
Mm. Yeah, that's the plan. When I say late summer, I probably mean like early fall. Like you're going up to Kent, Maine, which is the northernmost point in US 1.
Fort Kent.
And Fort Kent, right? And then work my way to Key West and do.
Well, you know what I said? And I've loved to do that, but I'll tell you, my wife and I have tried to do US 1 just in the state of Maine. And I mean, from northern Maine to the Massachusetts or to the New Hampshire line is what, about 400 miles.
Yeah.
It's amazing, US 1.
It'll take forever,
realize how far up Maine goes. I used to have a business up in Presque Isle, Maine, which is up near Fort Kent. And I used to joke with people and say, if I left Boston and drove to Presque Isle, or I went to Washington, D.C., which one would I get to first? And they'd all say Presque Isle, Maine. I said, not even close.
Not even close. No.
Not even close.
I did that on 995, and it was still like a long way to Bar Harbor.
Yeah, and even people say, when you get off 95, you get off in, well, depending upon which way you go. If you go all the way up to, not to Holton, what's the big town? Bangor.
Caribou?
Bangor.
Well, Bangor's the last.
Bangor, and then go over to Bar Harbor.
Before you go into the boot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Bruce is talking about Pelican Heads again. Bruce is in upstate New York. Tell us specifically, Bruce, where you are.
Which part of upstate New York, Bruce?
Yeah. Linda's in New Jersey. Our friend is in England. We've got Michelle watching from Prescott, Arizona. Chris is in Connecticut. Yeah, Joan is in England. And, she is near Sheffield. So, from that perspective. Folks, any questions you want to ask?
Well, I'll ask one.
Just type them in.
You obviously don't travel alone, right?
No, not all the time, no. Well, this is what we do. My wife still has a 9 to 5, so sometimes I do travel alone, but this is what we do. I travel somewhere like far away. I live in South Florida, so everything is pretty much far away. And then she'll fly to wherever I am. A day driving for me is an hour flying for her, pretty much, more or less.
Right.
So that's what we did. I spent some time in Arizona. Then she flew to Arizona now back in January, and we just rode all the way back to Florida.
Hey, Charlie from Blue Ox, glad to have you on tonight, Charlie. We'll run into you one of these days at one of our dealers.
Now, Bob, we mentioned, we said somebody's going to join us on the expo. Who did we say that up there? Somebody's going to join us on the expo. But we forgot to say that one of our own, the inimitable Walter Swenson, will be joining us and the expo on
he's one of our main presenters.
11th,
Right.
with a seminar on, and Robert, you're probably a reason for the growth in a lot of people renting RVs for the first time, because, you know, as Chris at the dealer end knows, it's hard to get one at a dealer these days because they're sold out, so people are renting. But Robert, Walter has a trailer that he bought specifically to rent out. So he's got his own that he and his wife use for their own private use, but he's also got one, and he's going to be giving us a seminar on the good, the bad, and the ugly of renting out your own RV. And I'm sure, have you, and the people that you run into, have they mentioned, well, they don't own it, but they're renting it because they're just trying to see what RVing's like? You run into any of those people?
I have, and that's something that I recommend many people, you know, because RVing is not for everybody. I mean, a lot of people will fall in love with it and then and embrace the lifestyle, but it's not for everybody. So I tell you, do like I did, rent a couple of times, see if you like it, and if you like it, then you narrow it down to what you want, because as you know, there's a huge variety. That you can get a pop-up, or you can get a 45-foot diesel pusher. So narrow it down to what you want. Go, and then after you narrow it down, go to an RV show and see it for yourself, or go to a dealer.
Maria's got a question. She wants to know if there's any good campgrounds in Miami.
There's nothing in Miami proper, but there's a couple of campgrounds south of here, like by the Everglades. There's a couple. There's a county park that is pretty good. And then just north of us in Fort Lauderdale, there are 2 KOAs and a couple of state parks as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but Walter, Robert, in the wintertime, it's a lot of people say, I'm just going to go to Florida and boondock. It's not that easy to boondock in Florida, right?
There are certain boondocking spots, like the water management service has a couple of places. It's more like in the Tampa area, more like in Central Florida. But boondocking is actually not allowed in most places. I mean, it's forget about boondocking in the Florida Keys or anywhere near a beach. Like RVs are prohibited from parking on the east side of A1A.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's there's some ways to boondock, and I think there's a couple of articles actually that talk about that. I think Mike Wendland did one of those, but I've been able to do a couple of Walmarts, but I've never been able to actually boondock anywhere interesting in Florida.
Yeah.
And Key West has some nice ones, right?
Key West has one camp. Well, it has a military base that if you're military or ex-military, you can stay there. And then there's Boyd's, which is like the prettiest island. But it's, I mean, you can bike your way to Duval Street if you want. It's like 5 miles from Duval Street, which is.
But plan on spending over $100 a night, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if you want the nice sites, the waterfront sites in high season, they're almost 200. So yeah, it's not cheap down there.
Yeah.
Jose has joined us from Mattapoisett, Mass. Jose is the producer of Rolling on TV.
All right, hi, Jose.
Says all the new RVers are making it harder to get campsites. Are you aware of anyone planning to build new campgrounds in New England? Actually, there's a couple of new ones going into Maine, Mo, and several of our campgrounds are expanding. I believe there's one new one in New Hampshire. So and that's pretty much true for the whole country. We're starting to see a lot more development and expansion of current campgrounds. The campground industry is well aware of the challenges there. Chris says the new solar options have really come a long way to make boondocking much more comfortable. That's true, between the solar options and the lithium batteries. Yeah. We have to take a break for a commercial, and then we will come right back. So if I can, what is it, DePietro?
Let's do it the professional way. We'll be back with much more with sponsor Lee's Family Trailer.
I cut you off halfway. Sorry, pal. It's my engineering skills.
some new stuff happening at Lee's Family for 2021, like their huge show yard expansion for more units and plenty of parking. Over 500 additional units arriving, including Wildwood, Grand Design, Cougar, and Montanas. 150 motorhomes like Winnebago and Echo are arriving. Go see them on Route 302 in Wyndham and at leesfamilytrailer.com. The fifth wheel capital of New England.
Love how it feels in your home on wheels from Lee's Family Trailer.
Welcome back, everyone, to the second half of the John DePietro RVing Hour.
We'll have
with my special guest, Traveling Robert, and straight from the HR office, Bob Zagami, who was fired last week and actually showed us again why he was fired tonight when he cut me off when I said, we'll be back with more right after this with Traveling Robert, after a word from our sponsor.
And I cut you off. That's terrible.
Cut me off. So we've got a bunch of new comments here. Gail Ann says, I wake up every morning singing the Riding with My RV song.
Oh, I'm so
Robert
sorry.
is addicting. So Robert, before we leave tonight, you'll have to give us one more version, or you can give us Driving to the West.
Okay, we can do one of those. Yeah,
either one of those. Either one of those. But what has been the most? I don't want to say fascinating because I'm sure every one of your trips. Where are you frightened the most? Like pulling into a rest area or anything like that. Have you ever been confronted?
Well, there was this one time at a Walmart just east of El Paso. And, I was getting ready to settle there for the night. And all of a sudden, this youngster started jumping on my rear bumper, like moving the trailer. And I mean, in hindsight, this probably wasn't so scary. It was just a bunch of kids. But at the time, I just came out and, told them a couple of, hard expletives there, get away from my rig and this and that. But that was one of the few times that I've been actually, afraid for my safety, and that I didn't have any cameras or anything outside. But another thing that I've been afraid of, and I always get myself into these situations. I get into a dead end situation. Oh. That one time where I'm looking at the map. I'm in Arizona. And it says Route 66. Let's take the other road. And it was kind of bumpy, but it was all right. But it deteriorated into a dirt road. And eventually there was no more Route 66. I was driving pretty much in the desert, and I had two chain link fences on both sides, so I couldn't make a U-turn. And eventually I did make the U-turn, but it took me like that movie Austin Powers, forward, back, forward, like 50 times. And eventually I almost jackknifed the trailer. And eventually I was able to make that U-turn on Route 66, but that was scary. I thought I was going to get stuck there until, nighttime or when the tow truck came to get me.
So you made it through.
I made it through eventually, yeah. That was a scary situation.
Ever been up in the Rockies where you've encountered snow that was unexpected?
Well, yeah, it was not unexpected, but it was the first snowstorm last year.
Oh, just last year.
In September. It was mid-September, and it was a snowstorm in the Rockies. And all of a sudden, I'm going up there, and I'm from Florida. I never get to see snow or anything like that. So that was a little scary. But my scariest snow moment was 2 months ago in Arizona. And I was in northern Arizona, and it's the same storm that crippled Texas. It went through Arizona like a couple of days before. Yeah. So it was full of snow. And there's this scenic route. It's the name escapes me right now. It's a very scenic route in the northern Arizona mountains. And I'm like, let's do it. Well, the road wasn't really plowed, or the guy who was supposed to plow it didn't show up. But there was more and more and more snow, and eventually I was pretty much driving on snow until I found a place to turn around. But that was another I don't feel comfortable. I have a 2-wheel drive truck. I don't feel comfortable driving in the snow, and that was kind of scary. You guys are going to see that video probably in 2 or 3 months. But yeah.
Was that near Flagstaff?
That was near Sholo in the Pine Top. It goes through the east, very close to the New Mexico border. It's kind
Come on, Michelle, help them out with that Arizona highway.
Yeah, if I look, I can look it up on my Google Maps here real quick, but
Okay.
it's
So,
a trail. It was that like the first Spanish explorer went through there originally, and they named it after him.
Hey, Robert, I don't know why you were afraid of those kids jumping on your bumper. Mo says you don't mind going camping in grizzly bear all by yourself.
But I've done it many times, and the last time I did that, I bought a bottle of bear spray, and I haven't been in grizzly bear country ever since. But I hear that if you make noise, and the grizzly bears don't come around. So
I see. Okay.
I don't know how much of that is true.
It's funny, we see the geography here. Joan Egan, who's our friend in England, says she used to live in Phoenix. I know where you mean.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. Now, Robert, I'm sure you've been on many, many shows. I mean, certainly ours will go down in your memory as one of the best. However,
Of course, yeah.
we're going to do something tonight that I bet you have not seen before. We're going to ban an audience member for making disparaging jokes. Okay. Now, last week I fired Zagami, and he got back in because of a technicality in the contract. And tonight we're going to fire Frank Palanche because he said, "Great job, Bob. John sounds better when he's muted." Now,
Well, I don't know.
here also YouTube sensations, and we don't have to take that from somebody who is building a brand new.
I think Frank is very astute. He's going crazy waiting for his new DRV mobile suites to.
Is that really his?
It looks gigantic. Yeah, it's phenomenal.
See, I didn't know whether he's faking with that or not.
No, it's his.
So he's going to get rid of that big thing he's got?
You bought a new truck. Did you buy a medium duty truck to, you can't tow that thing with a pickup truck, Frank. You need a medium duty truck.
He's probably got a big tow truck or a big cab somewhere.
Nicole McKinnon is on with us. She's the new Girl Camper Guide for Massachusetts, and the Girl Camper had their expo last weekend, and we have our expo on April 10th and 11th.
Yeah. Now,
Michelle says, Show Low is a city in Navajo County, Arizona, United States. It lies on the Mogollon Rim in east central Arizona at an elevation of 6,345 feet.
Yeah.
Show Low, not Shiloh.
Show Low, yeah. By the way, that highway was US 191, the Coronado Trail. I just found it on my map.
Okay.
So yeah, Show Low is up there. It's just it's kind of southeast of Flagstaff, and it's the White Mountains. It's high elevation.
We were talking about opening up campgrounds, and Bruce was concerned. I think that where'd it go? I think Gail has an excellent idea here, Robert. Jimmy Buffett's opening up Margaritavilles all over the country. So why can't you open up Pelican Land campgrounds?
Well, that's what I'm calling my new property in North Florida. I'm calling it Pelicamp, which actually, but for now, that's just for me, But eventually, we could do a larger RV park somewhere. It's not, I just need someone to manage it because I want to keep on traveling. Once you open something like that, you kind of have to stay there. Right?
You got 180,000 applications ready to be mailed.
Yeah.
So, Robert, our guest last week was Kim Foley McKinnon, who's on with us right now. She's written 8 or 9 books already.
Oh, wow.
So, Kim, I'm telling you right now, you should write another book on travelers or characters I've met along the RV trail, and we'll hook you up with Traveling Robert because
that'd be an encyclopedia.
Characters I've met along the RV trail.
Speaking of characters we've met, there's another character we want to who joins us every week at the near the end of the show. And Billy, I don't see an image.
Why am I down here? Why am I low like this?
Oh, I lost her. Billy McNamara may join us soon. We'll leave that up in case she comes back in. No,
there she is.
Okay.
There she is. She's joining us from the chapel.
Joining us from
in the back.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute, Bob. Look at what we've got right now. We've got one end of I-95 to the other end of I-95, from Maine to Florida, and several states in between.
Nice.
Yeah.
Billy, did you hear our conversation about Pelican campgrounds?
I did not.
Oh.
Did not.
Okay, so people who follow Robert are called pelican heads, like parrot heads for Jimmy Buffett. And we were talking about expanding campgrounds, and some of our guests were wondering if we had any new campgrounds. Well, you would know. What new campgrounds do you know of in New England that are actually opening this year, if any?
Oh, there's actually several that are opening. Ones that I know of in Maine, and then Massachusetts has some new ones too. Most of them are ones that were older campgrounds that have been purchased, and then the people put a lot of money and work into upgrading them. So another big one that is opening is the KOA glamping resort up in Bar Harbor, which is super fancy. If you haven't seen pictures of that, that looks phenomenal. And then there's another one. Yeah, there's another one up near Acadia that just got approval to open, and they're opening, I want to say, in May of this year.
Yeah, the one in Western Mass is, I want to say Quabbin Park or Quabbin Pond campground. It was an old campground, but they hope to get that one open in June. Do that. Walter says Jellystone renamed the park near the Cape. And Walter, what about the one in Sturbridge? Is that open now? They closed it and they kept it closed for a couple of years. Any near Brimfield? Yes, there is one in Sturbridge, Linda, but I don't know if it's open yet. It was the old Jellystone Park in Sturbridge.
They were closed last year.
Yeah. So Frank lost audio, so he can't hear us.
Oh, see, Frank says Sturbridge. No, we must have it now.
Yeah.
He's got it back.
My question for Frank was, I hope you're not going to pull that beautiful new DRV with a pickup truck. That justifies a medium-duty truck. One in Sturbridge is open. It's called Pine Lake Resort, and it's excellent. Okay. And Frank says his new truck will tow 31,000 pounds. Right. Pretty hefty. And what does that DRV weigh? Because triple axle, what did you tell me? It's over 40 feet, right, Frank? I think. Big one.
Yeah. Well, we can ask another question while we're waiting for that.
Right. Yeah.
But, I see Billy has her new shirt on.
Yes.
Oh, she does.
My new shirt. Oh, sorry. It's mirrored.
Yeah. That's our new shirt for our New England RV and Camping Expo, April 10th and 11th. We'll put some information down for you if you haven't signed up for that yet. And Robert's going to tell all of his fans about it.
Yep.
What's a DRV? DRV is a brand, Michelle. It's a brand.
You do that.
So Robert,
go ahead. I'm sorry, Jen.
Go ahead. I wanted to invite Robert to participate with us on April 10th and 11th if he's doing nothing.
Yeah.
And, come in and say hello to people or jump in on one of the you jump in on one of our breaks, Robert. You can be our special.
I'm going to be attending the Bluegrass Festival in Perry, Florida, but I as long as I have internet.
That's up in your area, right? That's up where the new house is.
Yeah,
Perry, Florida, not Perry, Georgia. Perry, Florida.
No, Perry, Florida. Yeah. It's,
okay. Now you'll RV up to that, right?
Yeah.
And camp. Okay. And they're allowing those festivals to go on again?
Florida has been pretty wide open. You saw what happened in Miami Beach a couple of days ago. It's crazy out there. Yeah. But I'm sure there'll be some kind of social distance happening. But all these festivals are happening.
Yeah. That's funny. Walter knows more about Frank's unit than he does. But whatever. So Billy, tell us any new things to promote for the expo here as Travel joins us.
So I think it's really great because every week that we get to have this, it's always more positive of, signups and new vendors that we have going on. We have a lot of new campgrounds. A lot of new RV dealers are joining. Our sessions are getting lined out, our educational seminars, which getting a lot of good feedback on that, on the topics that we're covering. And we've asked you guys in earlier ones what you're looking for, and we were able to find some of those. So that's really, really great thing. And, I think just more education for everybody on, what this is and this online all live event and what you can do with it. You go to a camping show and you have to bring your whole family and you have to pay for everybody to go. With this one, if you have a smartphone, it has an app now. Hopin has an app. So if you have a smartphone and you have a smart TV, you can just project it right to your TV and everyone can enjoy the show all at the same time for just that one entry fee, which is great instead of spending all that money per person. And also a big thing is you save money on not having to buy all that vendor food, buy a $6 hot dog. You can just have food at home and enjoy it in your pajamas.
You can have a 6-pack while you're going through the show.
Right. I think it's
absolutely.
At our convention center, I think it's about $7 for the hot dog and another $7 for 6 ounces of beer.
Yeah. So Robert, when you go to shows, like when you go to Hershey, do you ever sit in on any of the seminars, or are you just there to see the units?
I haven't done any of the seminars in a long time. At my first RV show, I went to a couple of those, but that was like almost 7, 8, 9 years ago. I just go to see the units, of course, and it's more like a social event almost. I get to meet people like you guys, and talk to Adam from Winnebago, and and the more I go to the different RV shows, the more people I meet, and it's more of a networking event at this point. And then, of course, the viewers of the channel, and when it is okay to have meetups again, we're gonna have big meetups at some of these RV shows.
Hopefully, we all get to Hershey, and one of the things that we do, we have a media dinner where all of the media guys and gals that go out to Hershey, we go out one night for dinner. So I'd like to personally invite you to join us. We will keep you posted on when that is. And we have a fun time talking about all the people in the RV industry and what's going on.
Thank you. I'd love to do that. Yeah.
Thinking about seminars, do you ever do any seminars at the RV shows at all?
I have never done any seminars. I don't consider myself an expert at any of this stuff. Not yet, anyways. Like the technical stuff. I'm more like an expert at traveling and showing people the different places. But I leave the technical stuff to the people who really know about it.
I think there's more interest in the traveling type than, there are certain people that like technical stuff like Frank and Walter, some of their buddies, but I think for an average consumer, they'd be very interested in some of the travel. Some of the videos are amazing.
Yeah, I can do certain things. On my first trailer, I installed my solar, I installed my vents, things like that. But
see,
right now, I rather show expertise.
The thing we've figured out, Robert, is that now people think, well, you have an RV expo, I'm going to buy an RV. Well, no, that's not even the case. And this is, you know what? You can buy an RV if you want to, but even if you don't own an RV and haven't even looked at them yet, this event will give you the capability to make a more intelligent decision if you decide to buy. Because as you said before, RVing is not for everyone. But the value that you bring to the table is how you, an average citizen, stumbled across RVing. As you said, you never camped before. It's, there's so many people that think that, the only way you can be a real camper is if you started camping when you were a kid and you're the third gen. Not the case at all. But the whole part about traveling in the RV and being free. See, that's the thing that people, I think, don't play up enough. When you're in that RV, even though you might be stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic on I-95 on a Friday trying to get around Jacksonville, right? Don't you feel different than if you were in your car driving home from work?
No, absolutely. It is the freedom that maybe you're stuck in that traffic, and you know what? I'm going to pull off the interstate and wait it out and have dinner in my own RV, and maybe go to the bathroom or watch whatever. You have your home with you, and I think that's the most enticing aspect of RVing. That gives you that freedom. And nowadays the RVs, they're more and more boondocking friendly with larger holding tanks and lithium batteries and all kinds of.
Robert, one of the stories that you told off camera in the video was that you have people, and for those who may have joined us late, Robert has over 180,000 fans on YouTube but you have some of your videos are 4 and 5 hours long. Explain your theory on those and why people like them.
And have a million views.
Yeah, so some of them have over 1 million, 2 million views, and at the beginning, I wanted to make those videos as movies, and they are really, I mean, they're compilations of shorter videos. Like the Driving to the West is 4 hours, but I just took 7 videos and I just merged them seamlessly and made them into a large long director's cut, and from the YouTube aspect, I mean, this is more like the technical aspect of YouTube. YouTube likes longer videos because people stay longer watching videos and they watch more commercials, and YouTube's makes more money, and I make more money too. So that's why YouTube favors longer videos in that sense. And that's why some of those videos have so many views.
Yeah, but they have to be good because nobody's going to stick around.
Of course.
If they're not good. So obviously and the quality is amazing, but your topics are amazing.
I try to make it like a story, and I try to make the viewer feel like they are, riding shotgun with me, traveling with me.
Yeah, traveling in your RV.
And it's not like top 10 things to do. Things will happen. Things will go wrong. I might go to a museum and it's closed, and I'll show that the museum is closed on Mondays. Oh, duh. And things like that. It's just the journey.
But it's real. It's real.
Yeah.
It's real and in person.
Robert, have that guitar tuned up because you got to give us Traveling to.
I'm gonna play the video he sent me. So I'm gonna. Trust my engineering here. I'm going to drop myself off.
But we're not done.
We're not done. And I want to mute. I have to mute everybody.
And we have to tell people about Friday night.
We'll do that after I go back. We're not done yet. Unmute and mute.
I'm riding in my RV, wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV. Yeah.
Now,
my opening.
Robert, was that the 7 Mile Bridge?
No, it's not. Am I muted? No. It's actually that took a lot of research. That's one of the few bridges in the Florida Keys that has pull-through parking before and after. So I could park the RV after and land the drone and all that. So yeah, it's a short bridge. It's an Indian Key actually.
Who was driving when you were droning?
My wife, she was driving.
Okay.
She never likes to drive the truck, but that one instance, I told her, no, you have to do it because I can't do both at the same time. Besides, it's illegal to do both at the same time. So, yeah.
Don't worry, Chris. I'm back. I was just screwing up a few dials down below.
Chris Bob.
Easy part. All he has to do is sit there and talk. I have to produce the show and talk.
He's on probation, Chris. He's on probation. Okay. So wait a minute. Let's get into this.
I'm going to have to go back. Michelle wants to know about cooking.
Everyone wants to know about cooking.
Great espresso. We're going to have you back. I mean, we could stretch another 5 minutes. Yeah, we got 6 minutes to go.
What about cooking? I do my little cooking segments when I travel. So that's always an addition to the show.
Right, but you put stuff in that freezer and cook it right in the frying pan, a big cast iron frying pan that you have. And
yeah, I do different things, like usually a little bit of Cuban food, like with a twist and things like that. I do my ground beef and my stew, and I always put oregano, cumin, and paprika because that's what you do. And
okay, now I'm going to suggest one thing for your safety. That you sleep with that. When you sleep next to that frying pan. So if any of those guys come in, you can just club them in the head with the frying pan in the dark, and then you're all set.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay.
I have to answer Lisa's question. I promised her a comp ticket for the expo last week, and I'm not sure I saw the email, Lisa. It's probably my fault because we've been buried all week lining up presentations. Send me another email to bobzagami@nervda.com, and I'll get you your comp ticket for the expo.
Spell Nervda.
Rita is from Nashua, New Hampshire. Lee Green says, Robert, you also show us the other types of rigs. You do that with some of your reviews, Class Bs, by watching videos on that. Now I know what I want. I just have to find it. Well, where are you located, Lee? Because we got a lot of dealers in New England. We got a lot of Nervda dealers selling Class Bs. So, where you know where Lee is located, Robert?
No, not exactly.
Did he say?
He
Say that yet?
figured out Class Bs, and now he knows what he wants.
Yeah. No, yeah. Whenever I go to the Tampa show or the Hershey show, and one of these days I'm going to go to California too. You know, I like to look at a little bit of everything and whatever is new.
Don't go to California too soon, Robert. They terminated that show. That used to be an RVIA industry show. The former manager of the show, I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. He is going to try to resurrect it as a private venture in September or October. That's a tight time frame, but he's trying to put everything together. So it may come about this year. It may have to wait till next year, but as an RVIA show, that's not there any longer.
Lee is in Chesapeake, Maryland.
That's okay, Lee. My name's Billy, so I get it all the time. I understand.
Oh, Lee is a her. Okay.
Lee is a her.
Yeah. Oh, I apologize.
Oh, we should tell you, Robert. Oh, Bob, we're going to give away one of his CDs. How are we going to do that?
Oh, good question. What we do last week? We counted down somewhere in the number of comments, so it's not fair to go to the beginning. So Billy, I don't know. We must have over 100 comments. Billy, pick out a number.
We'll never be able to do that.
No, I won't be able to search
1 to 100
after the show, and I will private message the person that has it. So for one of Robert's CDs.
Okay, and Robert, tell us about your Friday night special.
Well, every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, I do a live stream, and it's like a party, really. It's like a hangout. You know, I usually have a beer, and I answer everybody's questions, and it's usually a lot of fun. It's about an hour and a half. We get about 700-800 pelican heads there.
And tell them where they can see it.
That's on YouTube. That's on my YouTube channel.
The Traveling Robert.
They subscribe to Traveling Robert, and they hit the bell. You know, they should get a notification.
Yep.
And about once a month, I do a concert back here too. But that's on another YouTube channel that I have.
So Billy, give me a number somewhere between 1 and 100.
42.
42. Okay. I will dig that one out, and Robert, I'll let you know who wins it. We don't time on that. Any Chris Andros says
happy IPA, Robert.
Happy IPA. Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Great fun. Happy IPA. Live stream Fridays at 6. Great fun. Michelle, nice to meet you, Robert. Wow, you're a big hit. We have to have you back, Robert. I mean, 1 hour doesn't do you, but we got to be respectful of the time that people give us on Wednesday nights, and we know how busy everybody's schedule is.
So we put people here from all over the country. Because Robert, you do too. You get them all over the world. We're happy to get them all over the country.
Yeah.
But somebody said they're in Iowa.
That's what's great about this medium. You know, you can reach people all over the country and all over the world.
Yep.
Any close?
I think that's what's great about the camping industry is that everyone has a collaborative interest. You know, so no matter where you are, that's the great thing about it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any closing thoughts?
And eventually we'll bump into each other at some point, at some place in the country.
Yeah.
Just great to be here, hanging out with you guys, and I hope to be back again one of these days.
All right, John. Any closing comments?
No, just thank Robert for joining us, and we've got a complete from I-95 from Maine to Florida.
We got the East Coast. Robert, pleasure meeting you and having you on the show. Billy,
likewise.
Close it out before I click the last commercial.
Make sure that if you haven't already, register for the New England RV and Camping Expo, brought right to your living room, online, all live. Go to New England RV and Camping Expo.com to get your tickets. We'll see you there.
Go ahead, Robert. Serenade us out, Robert.
Driving to the west, into the sunset, driving to the west. west. Driving to the west. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right.
This edition of RVing in New England was brought to you by Lee's Family Trailer Sales and Service, one of America's fastest growing RV dealerships, and was a presentation of the New England RV Dealers Association. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.